Hello everyone, my name is Vishnu. I'm making this presentation as part of my term project evaluation. So, so part of my term project, right, I analyze the employee reviews on startups data. So as part of this analysis, I want to understand few things about the startups. So analyze the correlation among the individual ratings and overall ratings and identify how individual ratings impacted overall ratings. So this is one of my analysis goal. And another goal is that there is a column called advice to management. So I want to analyze that column and understand the top advices that employees are giving to the management. So this is my agenda for this presentation. So I'll give you the introduction and background of the data in the project, and I'll explain briefly about the data set, what is this data set is all about, and where do I get the data set. And I'll also provide the metadata about the data set. So after that, I did data cleaning to make my data ready for my analysis. So I'll explain what I did as part of data cleaning, and I'll explain data analysis, my goals, and what is the tool that I have used to perform this analysis. And I'll also explain my results with the help of the diagrams. At the end, I'll conclude my presentation with the recommendations to the management, and I'll explain my findings as well. Okay, going on. So as I mentioned, this analysis is as part of my term project. So here I'm going to analyze the employees reviews data. So these employees are startup employees. So they give ratings and comments for their work and their company. So here I'm going to analyze that data specifically. So I feel that it is very important to understand the startup culture, because there are many startups are coming up every day, but very few are becoming successful. As per statistics, right, 9 out of 10 startups are closing their business within the 5 years of their starting. So there might be a lot of reasons. So one might be the innovation failure, and another might be the lack of experience in managing a skilled workforce. You know, so at the end, right, employees are not satisfied with their work culture. They leave the company. That will also impact the innovation of the company overall. So this data set is generated from the data scraping, with the data scraping in the Glassdoor website. So Glassdoor website takes the ratings from the employees for their employers, right? So I find out this data in Kaggle. So I provided the link here. This is very big data. It has almost 30,000 rows, but for my analysis, I need only 90,000 rows. That is what I want to limit my analysis to. However, after cleaning all this data, right, so I got only 9,000 rows. So that is fit enough for my requirement. And this data has around 16 columns. However, I mainly focused on 7 columns, and 6 are related to ratings, and one is a textual field, that is advice to management column. So here is the metadata. See, ID is obviously identifier and the place, the company name, location where the company was based on, and the date and the status, whether the current employee is still with that employer or not, and their job title, summary, positives, negatives, and advice to management. As I mentioned, this is one column that we are focusing, and the overall. These are the overall rating. This is a numerical value, and the score 1 to score 5. These are also ratings for specific conditions. That reflects their working culture. So my goals are my analysis goals are to analyze the advice to management and extract the insights from that data, and understand the correlation between score 1 to score 5 ratings and the overall ratings, and also interrelation between score 1 to score 5 ratings. So data cleaning. So as we all know, data cleaning or data pre-processing is all about removing the anomalies and make data suitable for the analysis. So here, as part of my analysis and the data cleaning process, I remove the duplicate values and filter out all missing values and limit the records because I want to limit my analysis to 9,000 records. So I use the RapidMiner operators. So RapidMiner, I'll explain about RapidMiner later. So it provides a lot of operators that is very helpful for data cleaning and data analysis. So here I use a remove duplicate operator and filter examples operator, limit examples operator for my data cleaning process. In the analysis, right? So as I mentioned, I want to analyze the correlation among the individual ratings and overall ratings, and identify how individual ratings impacted overall ratings, right? And I want to analyze the advised management column, that is actually a textual column, and identify what are the major advice that employees are giving to the management, so that I can provide those recommendations to the management so that management can improve their working culture. The tool I have used to perform this analysis is a RapidMiner. So RapidMiner has very intuitive interface. It is very easy to use. So all we need to know is what are the operators you need to use to your analysis. So if you know the operator's name, you can just pick them from the operators panel and drop into the process panel, and you can just plug in all the inputs and outputs to the corresponding operators. Boom, at the end you'll get the output. So here I use data cleaning operators. I already mentioned all the operators that I used for the data cleaning process. And the tokenize operator, it will break down your sentences into number of small words. We call them as the tokens. And the correlation matrix, it will perform the correlation among your tokens and gives the matrix, so which are related, weak related, strong related, or if there is no relation, you'll get a zero value for the correlation matrix value. And association operator will give the association among your data cloud. And k-means cluster creates the clusters, right? Data clusters based on the related words in your data cloud. And in the correlation analysis, this is my process diagram. So the retrieve employees is the database, and select attributes, remove duplicates, and filter examples are the operators that I have used to pre-process my data. So in the select attributes operator, I selected uh, all the attributes that I need for my correlation analysis. So here I'm doing the correlation for ratings, right? So I have ratings 1 to 5 and the overall rating. So I selected all those attributes in select attributes operator, and I removed all the duplicates if at all I have any in my data set, and I'm filtering out all the empty values, right? So the pre-processed data is I feeded the pre-processed data to the correlation matrix operator. So once I run the process, right? So this gives you this out. So if you look at the correlation matrix here, score 5 and score 2 are related, fairly related, we can say. So better value for score 5 will give you the better value. So for score 2, we can assume that. And score 1 and overall ratings are fairly related. So if you look here, right, over the value is 0.252, which means if any employee give a better value for score one attribute, so they tend to end up giving better value for overall working culture or overall rating. So if you look at the weekly or not at all related attributes here, so score 3 and score 1. score 1 and score 3, the value is 0.059, which is almost zero. We can clearly say that there is no relation between score 3 and score 1. Moving on. So this is my association analysis. So this is my process diagram to perform my association analysis. So all these operators till filter examples is as part of my pre-processing, and the filter examples range operator helps to limit your number of examples that you want to conduct analysis. So I want to limit my examples to 9,000. That's the reason why I have used filter example range operator here. And I feeded the output of filter examples range operator to the process document operator. So this the process document operator will break down our sentences into tokens and remove all the stop words, English stop words, and convert all the words into small case. And that feed the data to, and I feed this data to numerical to binomial operator, and at the end FP growth. So FP growth operator will give frequency data sets that will helps create association operator to establish association between different tokens. So the output of this diagram is this. So if you look here, right, so here we can see confidence and premises and conclusion. So life balance, if there is a life balance premises, right, the conclusion would be woke. We can say that this conclusion will arrive for life and balance with the confidence of 0.96, which means 96.7 percentage. And keep good work or premises for the conclusion work, and treat is a premise for employees, and hire is a premise for people. So with these association rules, right, we can say we can conclude some sentences. So employees are not happy with work-life balance, and and some employees are appreciating the management to keep up the good work, and some employees are complaining about the management treatment towards the employees. They want to treat employees better, and some employees want to hire more people. Looks like they burned out a lot. Maybe startup companies employing very few people and ask them to do uh, more work. Maybe that's because of their financial constraints or something else, but employees are not really happy with that. These are the association rules. This is also we can get from the RapidMiner. And like k-means analysis. In the cluster, as I mentioned, k-means cluster analysis. We can create a clusters with the related words. So this is my k-means cluster diagram. So clustering is the operator here that helps to identify the clusters in our word cloud. So this is my output for this process diagram. So if we look here, right, cluster 2 have more number of items. After that, cluster 3 has more number of items. This is how our my k-means cluster analysis gives the output. So if we observe the output here, these are the frequent words that appear in each cluster. Keep, good, work appeared more in one cluster. Great, guys appeared in another cluster, right? With all these tokens, we can infer some words, right? So people are using these words together. Employees are using these words together in their review. So, and overall, right, conclude my findings. Overall ratings comparatively depend more on score 1. So overall score and score 1s are positively correlated, we can say. That means good values for score 1 produces good values for overall ratings. And score 2 and score 5 are positively correlated. However, the correlation is not very strong, but better when compared with other scores, right? So employees advising management on work-life balance. So this means employees are not at all happy with the work-life balance in their working environment. So they want to they want to have better work-life balance. And employees are suggesting management that the treatment should be better. Some employees are appreciating management with the words keep the good work. Yeah. So startup needs more manpower. That is the reason why we see hire people is the next best comment that employees have. So in my cluster analysis, these are the words that appear together: keep the good work, great guys, people management, hire a team, treat employees, listen to employees, care employees, something like that. So startup management should consider these findings to retain the skilled workforce so that they can also improve their, what we can say, their innovation capability. So my experience with the analysis is very good. So I feel these are very association analysis and clustering analysis very helpful to extract the sentiment in the huge textual data set. And the correlation analysis is very helpful to understand the relation between different attributes, right? And the rapid miner is very easy to use, but however, it needs some prior knowledge about their operator so that we can pick right operator for our need. This is all my presentation. Yeah. Thank you so much.